sitting here.
Yeah.
See the other day.
That's all right.
The other day when Coach Pop was here, and we were talking before the game, and he was talking about how it's easy to root for guys like Juan and Gary, Damien, guys who had a journey to get here. How much of their mentality has gotten into the fabric of this team in terms of just play hard and being that guy every night?
Yeah, it's a big dynamic for us. I really like the makeup of the roster. You know, we've got veteran leadership. We've got our star guys who have won championships and done everything, and then we've got rookies, a couple of rookies, and some young players who are trying to figure it all out. But the kind of the meat of this team, we've got a bunch of grinders, the guys you just mentioned. And when you combine that with stars like Steph and Draymond and Clay, guys who work as hard as they do, just creates an identity for a team, a competitive identity, and a toughness. And so I love having guys like that on our team.
Coach, obviously Steph's milestone coming up, a big talking point, but just how much has he changed the game with his three-point shooting as you kind of look at the body of work of his career with this milestone coming up in particular?
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy who really pushed the envelope individually. I think from a coaching standpoint, Mike D'Antoni sort of changed the way the league thought about threes, with his Phoenix teams around 05, 06, 07, those teams, they started playing smaller guys and multiple three-point shooters and spacing the floor for Steve Nash. And I remember them, I was doing a game for TNT, and they took about 30 three-pointers, and there was just this huge uproar, like, is that way too many threes, And of course now that's kind of less than average on a nightly basis for every team. So there was a shift philosophically on the coaching front, but Steph on a personal level just lifted the bar much higher in terms of what's a good shot, what's a bad shot, and he was obviously the most capable player to do that with him. And lacking any sort of what's the word, discretion, when it comes to shooting the ball, and I say that in a good way. He changed the outlook for a lot of players, and now guys are firing away from everywhere, and but he's obviously the best at it.
One more for you. We just asked Kavan, there are particular shots that stand out in your mind that you're like, how did he just do that?
Well, the Oklahoma City shot will always stand out, but I think Steph, in a lot of ways, is like Michael Jordan in that there are so many moments that they all sort of bleed into each other, and then they don't even stand out because that's just what you expect. And maybe that's the true sign of greatness. Maybe that's why our fans are just so enamored with Steph, and fans all over the world are so enamored with him because they know every single night they're going to see something special. And when you do something over and over and over again, it's harder for one particular night to stand out. So it's just kind of become routine for him.
All right, let's go to Zoom. Roz Gold-on-Woody for Coach Kerr.
Hi, Roz.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Wanted to start. Excuse me?
Sorry, go ahead.
You had mentioned the word you kind of started to expect it, and watched how Anderson did too, and a step potentially, or will step into this record. Can you talk about two words? One, like the inevitability of Steph on the court, this when the shot, when the ball is in the air, this feeling in the whole arena of like, it's good, and then also the pace in which he's been able to reverse this record. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is a sense in the arena that, you know, when the ball's in the air, that the ball's going in. There's a sense from his teammates, his coaches, the opponents, the fans, the officials. I think everybody just expects the ball to go in. And some of it comes, I think, because of what happens before the shot even goes up. You know, he has this magical ability to free himself up through his ball handling and his off-ball movement. And it's kind of stunning because there's really nobody like him. So when he does it, there's already been an amazing athletic move that has led to the shot itself. And so people are already awed. And then it does feel inevitable that the shot's going to go in. And that's why in every arena we go to, there's just a sense of anticipation every time he touches the ball, and you can hear it in the crowd. The pace with which he is, you know, going to break this record is stunning, but it's also an indication of how much the game has changed and how much Steph himself has changed it. Between the philosophical changes strategically, you know, over the last 15 years or so, and then Steph, you know, pushing the envelope in terms of what's a good shot, what's a bad shot. It's hard to even fathom where this record will stand, you know, when he retires. I mean, he will have obliterated a record that was pretty incredible in its own right, given what Ray Allen did in his career. So it's sort of mind-numbing.
Thank you.
Where have you seen Jordan defensively improve this season?
I think as Jordan's overall effort and physicality has gotten a lot better. In the first couple of years, we were constantly trying to get him into the fight. You know, if there was a loose ball or, you know, a screen set, you know, was he going to dive for the loose ball? Was he going to fight over the screen? Was he going to get into the scrum? Was he going to, you know, box out a guy on the weak side? Was he going to get into the paint and tag a diver, you know, from the weak side? I mean, all those things, we didn't know what to expect. And I think what's happened with Jordan is he's gotten a lot stronger physically, and he understands how important all those things are. And so he's gotten much tougher physically, much more capable of you know, dealing with size and strength and physicality and the normal sort of rigors of the game. So he's done a great job.
Hi, Steve. How are you? Maybe I'm dreaming this up a little bit because the game on Saturday is on ABC, but could you imagine the moment if Steph hit the record breaker over his brother and what kind of story that would be?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every time you turn around, Steph is doing something special or historic, and his family has played such a huge role in his career, not only, you know, being raised in an NBA household and being taught, you know, how to play by his dad and, you know, competing against his brother and all that, but yeah, that there would be a sort of a fitting I guess achievement if that were to happen. I don't know if Seth would look at it that way, but it would be somewhat ironic.
I know you mentioned a little bit on James yesterday, but we saw him working out and doing different drills. Is the mental part going to be the toughest part for James as he comes back from this, not the physical, in your opinion?
I wouldn't necessarily say that just because it's been 8 months since the injury, and he is going through the physical part every single day, and it's not easy. So I'm really proud of James for maintaining his poise and his work ethic and just continuing to come in every day and get his work in and keep his chin up. But it's all tied together. You know, he's getting closer, and we're really excited to see him on the court doing more. But really, big picture wise, you know, he's got his whole career ahead of him, and we just want to help him feel good out on the court and get this season off a start for them, whatever that.
Do you expect it, just quick on availability tomorrow, just everyone you had yesterday besides Kaminga and Moody?
Yeah, Kaminga and Moody will be in LA for a couple nights for G League games, and Andre's a possibility for tomorrow. And Otto will play as well.
Gotcha. Kaminga and Moody will be on the road trip.
They will be on the road trip, yeah. Thanks.
Beautiful Ontario.
Yeah, at home of Raymond Ritter.